Going to college 100 years ago.
Good evening and welcome to the Elk Grove Township Board of Trustees meeting dated February 23rd, 2026. Would the audience please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two.
Here we go.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Dukes,
Present.
Trustee Lujai,
Present.
Supervisor Scaletta,
Here.
Trustee Stanyek,
Present.
Trustee Weincoop,
Present.
Assessor Caroselli,
Present.
and I'm Clerk Saturn.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda is public comments. There's no one signed up for public comments on items that are not on the agenda, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. Has the board had an opportunity to review the payroll and the bills?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any comments or questions? All right, I'm going to move on to the department reports. First up is the Department of Administrative Services. While we are still trending ahead of last year's senior transportation rise by about 7%, we can see that the cold weather in January really kind of leveled things off. We were down one ride over last year at the same time, but we were trending 7% up, so you can clearly see that the cold weather impacted people utilizing the bus, as well as coming in for other services provided by the administrative services team. However, we did have 11 rentals in the month of January for the medical lending closet, because when you need something from the lending closet, cold weather is not going to stop you. The Department of Social Services has been very busy. They recognized continuing Tier 1, which is the highest status with CETA's remote site compliance and processing standards, visited Willow Creek's Care Center which is a referral resource for many of our residents, met with the Village of Mount Prospect's entire Human Services team to refresh on township services for Mount Prospect residents residing in Elk Grove Township. And they participated in the Illinois Township Association of General Assistance Caseworkers quarterly educational session. We also hold a board position, well, we don't, but one of our staff, the director of the department, holds a board position on this state association, and we're very proud to be associated with them. The food pantry, again, while we were neck and neck with last year's amount of households served, I think the cold weather definitely impacted people's ability to get out, but it did not impact our ability to receive donations. This January, we received 78,358 pounds of donated product versus January of 2025 of 72,431 pounds. We increased the number of homebound households who receive delivery. The Department of Youth Services, very busy month for them, January. So Youth Services obviously is much busier during the school year when they have the ability to go into schools versus having everyone come to the township like during the summer. While they're definitely busy during the summer, they get to see more people at one time during the school year when they visit the schools. For example, the District 214 Life Program, this January, they were able to serve 60 students versus last year, which was only 23. So it sounds like 2 classes versus just 1. The Growing Together Social Empowerment course, they served 26 students versus last year it was 3. The Youth Services Department served 348 youth in January of 2026, marking a 262% increase compared to January of 2025, which highlights the continued growth and impact on youth programming. The Integrative SEL and Cultural Transition Support for New Students program was offered to elementary school students, and we engaged 206 youth, which reflects substantial program growth from no participation during January of 2025 and an increased focus on early support for our newcomer youth. After completing in-depth research on a new tracking software that was more user-friendly for the department and parents, we have begun the transition to integrating to this new software into our programs, which is great news because sometimes you find a program that works great for staff but not for parents, or vice versa. This one hopefully is going to make everyone happy, and it's not often everyone's happy. So kudos to Renee and her team. Adult and family counseling continues to thrive. I think it's worth noting that the number of counseling sessions this January versus last January is up significantly. However, please note that the number of clients that have been seen this year versus last year, same fiscal time, is up this year modestly, but the number of counseling sessions that are happening is up significantly. And so we thank the entire Adult and Family Counseling Department for all of your efforts in making sure that mental health and wellness is definitely on the minds of our staff. Let's see, moving on to information from the department reports. The month of February was dedicated to planning and coordination for the remainder of the calendar year. Staff focused on confirming event dates, securing partnerships, coordinating logistics, and developing promotional timelines to ensure smooth implementation of upcoming programs and community initiatives. Over the past 2 years, the Township has placed a stronger emphasis on outreach and community programming. During that time, we have increased the number of annual programs and events from approximately 10 to 20, significantly expanding opportunities for resident engagement. Additionally, outreach programs and initiatives were successfully transitioned from the Social Services Department to the Communications and Outreach Department, allowing for a more focused and strategic approach to planning, promotion, and community impact. This continued investment ensures the Township is better positioned to serve residents and strengthen community connections throughout the year. I think what's really important is that for communications and outreach to take on a lot of the, we'll call it the heavy lifting of just organizing and planning and making sure that everything is taken care of, that allows the experts in our social services program to focus on the residents. And so when they can be in their office, answering the phone, taking care of people in person, while somebody else takes care of the planning and you know, so that we can get to the execution phase of community outreach, I think everybody in the Township is a winner. Our upcoming events, we have the Cook County Sheriff's Book Donation drive that will conclude at the end of the month. The Township is collecting new or gently used books from the community to help support the Cook County Sheriff's Office book bus. This is a free mobile library bringing donated books to communities across Cook County where access to traditional libraries may be limited. Here's an example of just one of the books that we recently received. I will tell you that the community has embraced our request for book donations and looking forward to providing those to the Cook County Sheriff's Department. You have to remember that the Cook County Sheriff's Department goes to many communities that are outside of a municipality. So it's unincorporated Arlington Heights, it's unincorporated Mount Prospect, it's unincorporated Des Plaines, wherever it's unincorporated, but we're still involved. We want to support the Sheriff's Department to make sure that that those residents are taken care of, because they don't receive all of the same services that one might if they are inside of a municipality or in the incorporated municipality. So in the month of March, it's Mac Madness. In the spirit of March Madness, the Township is launching its annual Mac Madness food drive to support the food pantry. Macaroni and cheese continues to be one of the most requested items, especially among families with children, because it is affordable, it's easy to prepare, and a reliable meal option. During the month of March, residents are encouraged to donate boxes of macaroni and cheese or any other dry pasta products to help maintain food pantry inventory. The drive will continue through April 6th, coinciding with the conclusion of the championship game, and will help ensure families have access to simple, budget-friendly meal options. On March 28th, the Township will once again hold its annual egg hunt at the Bike Safety Course on Saturday, March 28th, already mentioned that, where children will search for brightly colored eggs in a festive outdoor setting. Each child who is registered will gather eggs during their designated hunt time based on ages and receive a special take-home treat. Families are reminded to bring a basket or bag for the collection of eggs. Pre-registration is required, and all children must be registered to participate. The registration deadline is Friday, March 13th. Registration can be done by visiting the homepage of the Township's website. We ask that people register for a couple of reasons. Number one, we want to make sure that there are enough eggs for every child that shows up. And we want to make sure that we have the ability to spread the children out based on age. Because if you've ever done an egg hunt with like a 2 or 3-year-old, and there's also a 10-year-old who's hunting for eggs, that 2 or 3-year-old gets kind of knocked around, and we're trying to do everything we can to avoid something like that. But at the same time, make sure that we have treats available for everybody. And that is the conclusion of the department reports. Are there any comments or questions? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Trustee Lujai makes a motion to approve the consent agenda for February 23rd, 2026.
Trustee Duke, second.
Motion and a second. Roll call?
Trustee Lujai.
Aye.
Trustee Dukes.
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek.
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop.
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Next up on the agenda is approval of minutes for the regular board meeting, January 26, 2026. Has the board had an opportunity to review the minutes from the last board meeting?
Yes.
Any comments or questions? All right, if someone would make a motion to approve.
Trustee Weincoop, I move to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting dated January 26, 2026.
Trustee Stanyek, second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Trustee Weincoop.
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek.
Aye.
Trustee Dukes.
Aye.
Trustee Lujai.
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Next up is the reports for the township elected officials. First up would be our assessor, Connie Caroselli. Connie, what's going on over in the assessor's office?
Oh, lots of things are going on at the assessor's office. You certainly received my written report,
We did.
but I want to address tonight House Bill 4801 and Senate Bill 1750, automatic renewal of the senior freeze. Now, as you all know, you have to be 65 to apply for the senior freeze. And they have updated the requirements in tax year 2025 to in 2026, the income is $65,000. In tax year 2026, paid in 2027, the income is $75,000. In tax year 2027, in 2028, the income is $77,000. And in tax year 2028, paid in 2029, the income is $79,000. Now, if applied at 65 years of age and automatically renewed, that applicant may be significantly over the income threshold and still receive the exemption. What am I talking about? I'm talking about required minimum distributions in individual retirement accounts. That kicks in at 73. Now, at 65, you qualify for the freeze. Great. If this is automatically renewed, and at 73, per the IRS, you have to start taking required minimum distributions, you could be significantly over the income requirement. What's happening here? What they're not paying goes on to the rest of our taxpayers. I find that incredibly unacceptable. Basically, this legislation would codify potential fraud. And I ask you now, because this is my job, I'm your taxpayer advocate. You need to get in touch with your legislature and say, no, this is not appropriate. We are already the highest property tax state in the nation. It has to stop. And that's my report.
Thank you, Connie. Can I ask you, the local township assessors, I know that they meet and work as advocates for all taxpayers in our area. Are they working on contacting the legislators to express the concern over?
We are meeting Friday. I'm sure this will be a topic of discussion, not only with the executive board, which I am a director, but from that standpoint, this is election season, and this sort of nonsense comes up in this time of year. The bottom line is we're sitting with a state that has a deficit. We are sitting with a state that has a pension problem that is humongous. At some point, if some of these issues are not taken care of, it is going to come down to the property tax owner. And that's what we're concerned with.
Okay.
Can I ask the assessor a
Sure.
question?
Trustee Wincoop.
So the bills are to set up automatic.
Automatic renewal.
So the solution that you would propose is that people should have to apply annually?
Absolutely, because
Demonstrating-
there is an income cap.
Sure.
And I find this extremely disturbing. In my office, when we fill out a form for a taxpayer for a senior deferral, we go through their tax return. At the last meeting of the Cook County Township Assessors Association, Assessor Kagi said, well, it's it's okay at the county, we have them sign an affidavit. Mm-hmm. Well, that's great, but that's not the accreditation that should be accepted. May I also tell you that when we get toward the second installment tax bill, they do an audit. Now, we've got taxpayers legitimately on the freeze who all of a sudden have lost their exemption and have to come in, not only prove that they're alive, but they are still qualified under the income cap. This has gotten to be, I don't know how to really tell you what I'm thinking.
Maybe that's
I feel like
good.
maybe you have.
This is ludicrous. This is ludicrous. And let me tell you, am I against the senior freeze? No, I'm not. Because I know my seniors are in big trouble with property taxes. But what I will also tell you is this nonsense prior to an election does not solve the problem. It is pandering on an unbelievable level, and I really would like those of you that are listening to get in touch with your representatives, because if you don't participate, nothing changes.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Sure,
Do you help seniors with applying for this year-round? So
absolutely.
that's a year-round service at the assessor's
Absolutely.
office? So there's capacity, if these bills fail and people have to then every year affirm their status as being qualified for the exemption, your office stands ready to assist
Absolutely.
everybody that comes in. Great, thanks.
Absolutely. Here's the other thing. We're having a meeting on Friday with the Cook County Township Assessors Association, and we have been dealing recently with re-education on the senior deferral, because there are that many seniors that are in trouble. That, to me, is a report card to what's going on. And I find it absolutely indefensible. As I mentioned, probably in another diatribe, our seniors are forced out of their homes. And this is absolutely unacceptable. But here's the deal. The relief that we need to give them also gets redistributed to the rest of you. So you need to understand what's going on. You need to start talking to your legislators, because even though they passed this bill that increases the income level, why wasn't it for this year? Why wasn't it for this year?
Thanks, Connie. I wanted to just make two points of clarification. Number one, the assessor's office provides that opportunity for people to come in for the senior freeze all year long.
Correct.
And number two, the senior exemption is different than the senior freeze. The senior exemption, once you're on that list,
That's forever.
that's forever. And that should be forever, because you're not getting
You don't
younger.
get any younger.
You don't get any younger. But the
Figured
senior
that one
freeze
out.
should be something that's evaluated on an annual basis, and you just simply come into the assessor's office, you show the proof that you still qualify. And it's great that the legislature took it up, because even when we had toured the township with a couple of state reps, one of them actually thought that it had already occurred, that they had already raised it. And while the House voted, the Senate didn't take it up, or if they did, they voted against it. So now we're moving in the right direction. But I don't always think that the state, that those that represent us at the state level, I think around here they probably understand it better, but I don't know what it is, but everyone seems to say one thing about helping to reduce taxes, but at the same time, they're doing things that don't help us. I mean, you can't take away from the distributive fund for the municipalities and then at the same time saying you're helping to reduce taxes, because every time you take away taxes from the municipality by reducing the distributive fund from the income tax, you're forcing the municipality to raise property taxes. So I wish that property taxes were taken care of at the local level, but maybe someday. So we're going to move on to the clerk's report. Sue Ellen?
I just had two FOIAs this past month. The first one was about a commercial property, so we referred them to the Cook County Assessor Commercial Department. And then the second one was requesting information about the attorneys that we work with, asking for bills, agreements, and documents. And I wanted to thank Erica for getting that information out. And that's it.
Great, thank you. So my supervisor's report, I'll get through it as quickly as I can. This is from January 27th through February 22nd. I attended the Harper College alumni-hosted event to learn more about the opening of the new aviation maintenance lab in Schaumburg and other initiative labs benefiting local high school graduates and workforce development efforts. I attended the Scouting of America recognition dinner along with Trustee Lejai, honoring Mount Prospect Mayor Paul Hofert and the Arlington Heights Memorial Library for their continued support of Scouting programs. I met with Soshi Soto from Shelter Inc. and along with the Township Administrator Isabella Manzo to discuss services provided to Township residents through the Township's Mental Health and Wellness Program Agency grant. Tour of the Township Food Pantry, Youth Services Community Room, and Bicycle Facility were also provided. I attended the Cook County Commissioner Kevin Morrison's roundtable with Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. During that meeting, I expressed appreciation for the county's support of the township and shared concerns regarding the delayed real estate tax bills, which have resulted in lost interest income that supports the township's food pantry and social service programs. I met with the village manager of Arlington Heights to discuss the township services and coordination for residents jointly served by the township and the village. I met with Jane Grega of Wreaths Across America to discuss potential partnership opportunities supporting the placement of wreaths on veterans' graves at the Elk Grove Township Cemetery. I attended the LIHEAP on-site program sign-up event at Rolling Meadows City Hall. Thank you to Associate Director Andrea Carrillo and Adult Benefits Specialist Miriam Herrera for traveling to Rolling Meadows to meet with residents closer to their homes and assist with LIHEAP registrations. Their bilingual skills were especially beneficial. Also collaborated with Natalia Neves, Director of Human Services for Rolling Meadows, on continued coordination to serve vulnerable residents. This LIHEAP event that was conducted at the City Hall of Rolling Meadows came from a conversation that I had with the city manager of Rolling Meadows along with the Director of Human Services back in November. And during that conversation, it was requested that, can the township come out and do on-site registrations at the City Hall? Worked with the Director of Director of Social Services at the township along with the deputy, and we developed a day that would work for us and for the city, and then they reached out to the other townships that cover Rolling Meadows, and so that day we registered 13 people for LIHEAP benefits, so that was a great success. I attended the Mount Prospect Shining Stars Gala with other community and business leaders to celebrate volunteers making a difference in the community. I attended the Civic Connections at the Mount Prospect Public Library and met with leaders from the Mount Prospect Village Board, Park District, Library, School Districts 57, 59, and 214, as well as Wheeling Township. I attended a gathering of elected officials from across the municipalities served by the township at the Springfield Kickoff. The event brought together public officials, community partners, and business leaders to encourage continued dialogue and legislative efforts aimed at keeping the Chicago Bears in Cook County and the state of Illinois. Along with Administrator Manzo, Social Services Director Corey Dewey, and Associate Director Andrea Carrillo, we toured Shelter Inc.'s new DCFS licensed commercial sexual exploitation of children facility. This first of its kind program in Illinois includes a 12 single-bedroom home providing 24-hour therapeutic support and 6 to 24-month residential placements focused on education, vocational training, and personal development. I attended the Mount Prospect State of the Village breakfast and met with community leaders and elected officials. Mayor Hofer discussed the village's focus on public safety and its strong fiscal position, including 0% levy increases and balanced budgets. Township services were discussed with attendees. I virtually attended the bi-monthly TRIP meeting along with Transportation Coordinator Mariana and Administrator Isabella Manzo. TRIP is the bus service that is utilized by our residents when they're traveling to medical appointments outside of the township. So if they need to go anywhere outside the township for a medical appointment, trip through PACE is the service that they utilize. Along with Social Services Director Corey Dewey, I met with the Arlington Heights Director of Health and Human Services to discuss collaborative efforts to serve shared residents and provided a tour of the Township Food Pantry. And finally, I attended the Village of Arlington Heights Hearts of Gold event, recognizing volunteers making a positive impact in the community. And that is the conclusion of my report. Any comments, questions? All right. All right. Yeah, it was a busy month. Can I get a motion to approve the monthly reports of the elected officials?
Trustee Stashniak makes a motion to approve the reports of Assessor, Clerk, and Supervisor.
Trustee Weincoop, second.
Motion and a second, roll call?
Trustee Stanyek?
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop?
Aye.
Trustee Dukes?
Aye.
Trustee Lujai?
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta?
Aye. Moving on to old business. At the last meeting, we had a discussion about an immigration resource landing page on the township website. At that meeting, there was discussion amongst the board, there was public comment, and ultimately this item was tabled for tonight's meeting. And I think that everyone's had an opportunity to not only think about the testimony that we received from residents and staff. There was also a memo provided to the board from the township administrator regarding the landing page, which included perspectives from Adult and Family Counseling Department, Youth Services Department. There's also a memorandum from our Director of Social Services, who spoke with the Human Resources Department in every one of the municipalities that we serve. And finally, there was a memo from Mandy Stevenson, the Communications and Outreach Manager, which provided information requested by the board regarding website statistics and the costs related to adding such a landing page to the township website. I don't think it's necessary for me to repeat all of my points, but I think that our website should be solely used for services, for programs and services that are provided by the township. And at this point, I will open it up to discussion by the board.
Trustee Weincoop?
Trustee Weincoop?
I want to thank the staff of the township for following up on the questions and concerns and getting back the information that we need to discuss this in a more thoughtful way as a board, so I appreciate that follow-up. I'll just say that I'm open to hearing, thoughts from my fellow board members about direction they want to go. My initial comment for now is just that I really don't think that the costs that we're talking about here are substantial, so it's really more about whether or not we think generally this is a good idea. And so I'd prefer not to discuss the, just for the public, the two estimates that we got in for a bare minimum sort of approach to this would be about $600. And to stand up a standalone page, which would be a little bit more work and a slightly different situation, would be about $1,500. It doesn't necessarily talk about any additional ongoing costs. I'm assuming that they'd be insubstantial, right? So, so I don't think that cost is really a factor in our decision, at least for me. It won't be reflective. Any decision I make tonight would not be reflective of the costs.
Trustee Lujai?
Thank you. Once again, thank you to the staff. I talked with the department heads, just very much thanking them for their insight, their work in reaching out to other townships and other local officials, as well as the supervisor. Everybody on this stage wants to help all residents here in Elk Grove Township, and this has been a very good debate and created a lot of good insight into how we communicate with the community, the words we use on social media, try and create a more inclusive environment. To me, though, the question is the best way that we can help all of those residents, immigrants, as well. After reviewing the data and the recommendation of the department heads, I do believe that there are better ways to help those residents than putting this information on the website. I think it does open us up, as the department heads were saying, to needing to put other information on there from nonprofits, from religious organizations, and it does create a precedent as well. So I think at this time, I would like to make a motion to possibly amend, if that is the correct Robert's Rule of Orders. I would like to make a motion to, rather than put this on the township website, to direct the department heads to create an internal almost board or information where if somebody does call, we are able to assist them in an incredibly timely manner while not having to put the information on the website. In reviewing the information, not many people do call for those services. Our staff has always helped them, but having all of the information in one convenient place at the front desk as well as the department heads, I think would be a good use not just of resources, but also to create that equity that we're looking for in our website.
There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Trustee Duke, second.
There's a motion and a second. Let's continue with the conversation.
So if I could get some clarity?
Trustee Weincoop?
So, relevant to the motion,
Yes.
is there an assumption that needs to be, I guess would want to have a question for the department heads. Like I get the impression that that's already done. Like that we already have a set of resources that we're sharing. So I welcome you to comment on that. If you want to, Corey, if that's allowed, just in terms of like, was this needs to be more comprehensive or more compact? I couldn't.
Could you please step to the podium?
Thank you.
Director of Social Services, Corey Dewey.
So absolutely, when, first and foremost, just a reminder, when anyone calls for any resources, whether it's eviction resource, immigration, domestic violence, our forefront is we are not attorneys. So that's kind of where just a caveat that we also tell residents. But absolutely, we have a comprehensive toolkit geared to assist for resources and referrals with those specific needs. As I kind of said in that memorandum also too, because if someone is calling specifically for those resources, there are usually 90% of the time in our experience looking for other resources. So not only can we then promote what we do here internally, there are oftentimes a lot of services that those folks reaching out maybe do not think that they are eligible for. And we want to screen and make sure they know everything they are eligible for, or anyone in the household that they're eligible for, and then give them all resources beyond that. What we can do, if it, of course, all of our different departments also have those resources through us. If there is someone coming in, for example, we now have someone in our evening hours, 4 days a week, which is wonderful. We can have something more comprehensive, like a packet that we could give people that we are screening and doing through. Some of the other things that we talked about, like I said, those programming stipulations change even within those agencies so often, because a lot of time there's funding that comes with services. So we typically know when something is not available anymore, when something just opened up, hey, there's this new resource, it's going to be open for the next 30 days. That's why it's really important. We think that we are kind of speaking with those folks and then continuing to do those things, more and more outreach, going into the community, doing those on-site applications, meeting the clients where they're at, because a lot of the feedback, as I said, is people are not going to our website for those resources. But we want to expand reaching out to people and getting people as much information as possible, and then probably more information than they want. So that is our goal.
Thank you, Corey.
Can I follow up?
Sure.
Comment, not a question. You're good. One of the concerns, so several years ago, I was on a federal discretionary grant project about linking systems of care for youth across the state. And one of the issues that that was a challenge across the state is that when people want these resource directories, there's this vision that they're static. that you can sit down, you can develop these things, and now you've got this list of resources and you're good to go. When in truth, they're constantly in flux, and I appreciate you mentioning that so many of the organizations that serve, well, any of our populations that we're concerned about, vulnerable populations, are based on grants and government funded. And so with so much of that in flux right now constantly, those services are maybe available today and not next week, right? And so having a directory doesn't really guarantee that we're good to go. What's really important is that our staff are in touch with the agencies that we're referring to and understand the challenges of our population. So if the staff feel like this is going to support them in some way, then yes, I'm for that. If it's something we're already doing, I want to make sure we're not creating additional work or being overly prescriptive. I generally am trusting that our staff are, have their fingers on the pulse here of the community and also the partner agencies. I credit to Supervisor Scaletta for getting around so much in January and February. Those mileage reimbursements are probably killing us here, but that's okay. And
He doesn't turn them.
well, gosh, that's negligent of you or generous. But I do want to make sure that we're staying connected with the community. It sounds like in most cases we are. So the key thing for me is how do we encourage and connect the community to the staff? Because that's where the magic is happening. That's how we're getting people connected to the resources they need. So I'm less and less convinced that that's something on the website, and more convinced that we have to continue to work on the things we talked about in the strategic planning meeting about accessibility. I do agree, we've talked about a plugin on the website to make sure that it's accessible in all the languages. I think that that's definitely a quality investment. But I really think that whether it's access for people to get connected to staff or more support for staff somehow, so that they have more bandwidth to field these concerns and get connected and stay in touch with the appropriate community resources. Those are things that I definitely want to support.
Thank you, Trustee Wincoop. I think that the one thing that I heard at the last meeting, and I just heard again tonight, is that there's this assumption that there's all these people out there that we're not connecting with. And while we can always do a better job of making sure that we're more visible, I've talked to the directors of the human resource departments of each of the municipalities. I have talked to mayors, I have talked to village managers, and everybody understands what we do, and everybody understands where they should send people when they need resources. So while I appreciate the continued conversation and the dialogue, and we should continue to do everything we can to make sure that we're visible in the community, that we're providing all the information to people so that they know all the services that are provided by the township, I'm not sure where this suggestion that there's people out there that we're just not connecting with. In Rolling Meadows, for example, there are a lot of people that benefit from the township where English is not their first language. And when I talked to the director of human resources or human services over at the city, she's like, yeah, no, we know exactly where to send people, and we know how to get them there. We know what services you provide, and you guys do a fantastic job of engaging our people and making sure that they are taken care of. And so I think we should move forward with finding ways to continue to reach out to the community, but I don't want us to assume that we're not engaging with people enough, number one, and number two, that there's people out there that are struggling who could use our services, but they have no way of connecting with us. So if, the closest thing to anyone is going to be the municipality or their library. And both of those organizations know where to send people. Because when, as much as people want to say that the township is closest to the people, we might be closest to the people because, we have the assessor and they're an advocate for the taxpayer. But if I have a problem in my town, I'm not coming to the township, I'm going to the village or the city. That's where I'm going. And as long as all of those people know, the police, the fire, their human services, the village manager, the mayor, as long as all those people know what the township does, we're going in the right direction. If people were unaware of what we do, then we got a problem. They're all aware of what we do. We just need to continue to be out there and be visible. But to continue to suggest that, that people are out there struggling and we're not doing enough to engage them, I think is a bit of a stretch.
Supervisor, if I may,
Sure.
respectfully, wanting more of something is not a criticism that we're not doing enough, right? So I'm not trying to criticize. I feel like we are doing a good job. Could we do better? Sure. And also, I appreciate the recognition that many governmental bodies, like the villages and the libraries, are connected to us, know where to send people. But I believe if we listen carefully to the public comment from last time, we also heard that there's a good number of people that don't really want to leave their homes right now for a lot of reasons and are having a difficult time accessing resources because they don't trust institutions that are government-sponsored. So I want just to be aware that there is a population out there that's like that. Could we do more to reach them? I'm not sure, but it is something to consider. So it's not a criticism when I say that I want everything to be more accessible. I don't want us to be a secret to anybody, right? So we're not going to hide our light under a bushel basket here. We're doing a good job of getting around to all the places. We did listen to your report, and as I mentioned, I feel like you're doing a really effective job of communicating the value of the township. Is there anything else that we can do? Are there people that haven't heard? Are there people that aren't really trusting of government and that we have an opportunity to build a bridge, somehow? So just open to that suggestion, and more so what I'm saying is that, I want to make sure that we're, these are things that came up in the strategic planning too, right? So I want to make sure that we're following
Absolutely.
through with what we've been hearing. So not a criticism, just a hope.
We're still waiting to finish the strategic planning. We're
Correct.
waiting on them to finish it up. That's why when this came up, and I kept saying, are we talking about adding a landing page, or are we talking about trying to make sure that we're getting out there, which were two different things, so. Are there any other comments or questions?
I do have a question, Supervisor.
Trustee Staniak?
For the contracts that we have with other agencies, can you, or maybe Administrator Manzo can tell us what type of services we are referring out to those agencies?
Are you talking about the mental health and wellness?
No, I am talking about the contracts that we have with other nonprofits. What type of services do they bring to our residents?
Most of them are under the Mental Health and Wellness Committee. There's also the Jocelyn Center, where we refer people who are utilizing our adult and family counseling, but they might need medications, and so in order to do so, they need to get a prescription, and so we refer them to the Jocelyn Center, who we have a contract with. Otherwise, I'd have to go through the list of all of the agencies. Mm-hmm. There's everything from domestic violence, there's everything to homelessness, there's everything to mental health, there is substance abuse, there is sexual violence, there's legal aid. Pick one. I don't know, I'm not sure what the question is, other than that there's a lot that goes on of what we support. I think that I'll let you see if there's another question.
And we sign those contracts with those agencies based off the need in the community? Or those agencies come to us every year to renew their contract, present their case, what is it they have to offer to our residents? How does that work?
Okay. So we just discussed it at the last meeting, and basically the way it works is they apply on an annual basis, or anybody applies on an annual basis. There is a committee that's put together. Trustee Lujai is on that committee. They go through the applications, they interview about a third of those organizations, and they make recommendations to the board.
Okay, so if there's a new need in a community, can community come and request certain agency to be a part of that
No, an
list?
agency needs to make the application.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I think that the one thing that's really important when we look at this landing page, and most of the links that I saw were referring people to like either the state or the federal government, is that I thought, well, what if we linked the state reps or the state senators' web pages? But they have nothing on their web pages either. And so it's just, we got to find a way to help people, but I don't know the easiest way to do that when it's not a service that we provide.
Great.
Jay?
Thank you. Similar to Trustee Weincoop, I also agree that the website's probably not the best idea, but when I made my motion, I wasn't thinking about a static document that's going to live, but with so many things constantly changing, with Supreme Court decisions coming down, constantly overruling different things. Immigration in particular is something that is changing pretty regularly, and with the staff we have, I know that they would be updating those services. I think the reason why I'm just asking for something more formal just to be put in front of the department heads is just so that on one place, we have all of the different steps that we have and resources that we can refer out to. I'm sure we already have all of that. I just think it would be important to have it in one very specific location if it is not already on there.
All right. Do you have any, are you clear on the direction of the motion?
Thank you.
Do you have any comments or questions?
I'm good.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, we'll open it up to the audience for public comment. Remind everyone that you have 3 minutes to address the board on this topic and this topic only. We ask for your name, address, and what township you live in. Seeing none, I bring it back and ask for a roll call. We're talking about item number, letter I, the old business, which is discussing about an immigration resources landing page on the township website. At this point, there is no motion on the table to add a landing page to the website. The only motion that's on the table is to have a document available, put together by the Social Services Department that is available to the Social Services Department, Adult and Family Counseling Administration, and Youth Services that would provide information about immigration services if anyone were to ask. And I would hope that that document also encourages people to then set up an appointment with social services so that you can provide all the direction just like you would over a telephone call.
Absolutely.
That's fine. I'll wait till the next meeting.
Great, thank you. Roll call?
Trustee Lujay,
Aye.
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek,
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop,
Nay.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. It's redundant, but I don't want to vote against something that we're already doing, so I don't
It's
see
nice to
how-
formalize.
Sure, I don't have a problem with it, that's why I voted for it. All right, next item on the agenda is new business, is the annual town meeting. So, the annual town meeting, much of the annual town meeting is defined by state statute. We're approving the agenda at this time because the agenda and meeting notice are required to be published in a local newspaper and posted in 3 public locations within the township at least 15 days prior to the annual town meeting. Waiting until the next regular board meeting would not allow sufficient time to meet those posting and publication requirements. Before we move forward, I want to briefly address a question that came up regarding public comment at the annual town meeting. Under township law, the annual town meeting is not a township board meeting. It is a meeting of the electors, and it operates under a different structure that is specific to township government. Because of that, a separate public comment section is not required by statute, and historically, our township has not included one as discussion occurs through the agenda items under the direction of the elected moderator. That said, in the interest of transparency, consistency, and public participation, I'm recommending that a public comment section be added to the end of the annual town meeting agenda to allow members to speak. There will be a sign-in sheet at the front of the room for those who wish to speak. With that, I'll ask for a motion to add a public comment section to the annual town meeting agenda after the town moderator is elected and sworn in on the agenda.
Trustee,
I mean, or we can open it up to discussion, but I just kind of wanted to put that out there as an introduction.
Trustee Weincoop, I move that we add a public comment agenda item following the election and swearing in of the town moderator to the Elk Grove Township annual meeting town agenda, annual town meeting agenda.
Trustee Lujai seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions?
Trustee Weincoop, I'm wondering if we want to include any guidelines about the public comment as we did for the strategic planning meeting, or if we want to just keep it.
I was going to leave, I'm recommending that we leave it alone, that
Okay.
the reason I was so specific about requesting the change for the strategic planning was we had so much to get to, and I did not want it to be consumed by public comment and not allow us to get our money's worth from the moderators.
I appreciate that. If I may, I think that it is consistent and useful for us to have public comment. I remember attending last year's town meeting and being a little surprised that we didn't have more space for the citizens, for the electors, since they are the ones who this meeting is for and run by. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to add that to the agenda. Thank you.
Sure. We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Weincoop,
Aye.
Trustee Lujai,
Aye.
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek.
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Next on the agenda is discussion and a review, hold on one second. Oh, you know what, I needed to do one more thing on this town meeting. So I'm going to ask that we have a motion, because we haven't adopted the agenda yet. So can I have a motion to adopt the annual town meeting agenda contingent upon the inclusion of any agenda items timely submitted by the electors to the Township Clerk in accordance with 60 ILCS 1/30-10.
Trustee Weincoop, so moved, because I'm not repeating that.
Okay.
Trustee Stashniak, second.
Motion and a second, roll call.
Trustee Weincoop,
Aye.
Trustee Lujai,
Aye.
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek.
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Next on the agenda, discussion and review of tentative agenda fiscal year 2027 budget for the town fund, general assistance, and sewer. Before we get started, I wanted to take an opportunity to thank the Township Administrator, Isabella, along with our Finance Manager, Erica Renz, for all of their work to assemble what we're all going to review this evening. Of course, it took a lot of input from the department heads, and so I'm grateful to each one of them for taking the opportunity to review their past budgets and put together goals and budgets for fiscal year 27. At this time, I'll open it up to the board for comments or questions. Or if you'd like Administrator Manzo just to kind of start this out. I mean, does everybody understand that? So we're looking at the fiscal year 26-27. It's called fiscal year 27. It begins April 1st of 2026 and ends March 31st of 2027. The budget basically goes through where we're receiving our revenue, which for the town fund is mostly real estate taxes, a little bit for personal property replacement tax. We receive some money from fees that we collect for processing passports. And then our hope is to also receive some grants, which we would receive from the county, the state, and/or other community organizations. And then it just goes through all of the expenses by department. And I worked with the staff because there's been times where I've questioned, where something, when I'm signing a check and I'm asking what department this belongs under. And so we've made a concerted effort to really make it so that it's very user-friendly, not only to the board, but to the residents, the way that it's laid out, so that you understand exactly what the cost of each of the departments is to operate. I'll leave it there.
And just thank you for the, I know it took hours of work to update everything to the supervisor's specifications, and it's just laid out very professionally. So thank you both for that directive, but also the hours of work that you put in. It's very good, and the updated numbers are very clearly laid out with all the departments that are necessary. So thank you.
It's kind of fun.
Was it fun 2 weeks ago?
Fun right now.
Yes, because you did all the heavy lifting. Are there any comments or questions regarding these budgets? They're balanced budgets based on the 0% increase on our current levy. If not, can we get a motion to approve the tentative Township fiscal '27 budget for the Town Fund, General Assistance, and Sewer?
Trustee Dukes motion to approve the tentative Township Fund for fiscal year 2027 for Town Fund, General Assistance, and Sewer.
Trustee Lujai seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Dukes?
Aye.
Trustee Lujai?
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek?
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop?
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta?
Aye. Next up is the discussion review of the tentative fiscal year 2027 budget for the Road Department. I'll leave it open for discussion or a motion to approve.
I have just one question that I'm sorry I didn't ask in advance. The salaries line item for this, I think that's gone up.
Sure.
Can
So
somebody
this-
expand on that?
Yeah, so the salaries line item is a nominal fee that's on here for, right now, we use a lot of contractors for the work that we do for this department. And my plan is to provide some funding to a current employee to do some of the work that we would normally hire a contractor to go out and do. It's, right now, a lot of times it'll be the administrator, or we'll have to ask another employee who's not being paid for that type of work. Also, oftentimes, we'll have to send out a contractor just because of, we need someone to go out there and take a look, and we have somebody in-house that could do that. But what I wanted to do was make sure that there was a line item that would cover some of that cost for that employee.
Sounds good. I appreciate that insight. I'm all for insourcing. So was there a subtraction out of some other line then in order to accommodate that? So we'll be using fewer outside hours for this, so.
Yeah, it would be covered more under contractual services, but right now, we're leaving these numbers, you know,
Yeah, I get it. You're trying to establish line items so that we have
yeah.
something to work with.
But, you know, the biggest problem, I mean, I will tell you that while this is a much bigger budget for the town fund, this one is a little bit more challenging in that there's so many variables of what could happen. And even when you look at what the balance is that we're moving forward with, for the amount of miles that we have, it's really not a lot of money. Because as someone who has had to bid out to rip up parking lots and do asphalt work and sewer lines and stuff like that, God, is it expensive. And so we're in a good position, but I wouldn't say we're in a great position, but we're in a good position, and we need to continue to be fiscally responsible. But there's going to be times where we're going to blow through quite a few dollars maintaining the roads that we have.
And then just to make a comment to the people in attendance, but also to the dozens watching on YouTube. Supervisor Manzo did make herself available to answer all of our questions ahead of time. So she was very great about answering and responding and clearing up a lot of the questions that the board had on an individual basis.
I want to add, Trustee Weincoop, to your question. I think in a typical budget, if we were to increase the salary line item by this amount, and again, the entire amount is not new, there were portions of the administrator's salary that were dedicated into the salary line item previously. We're working on kind of separating those responsibilities. So you would have seen a decrease in particularly engineering costs, because that is who we rely on if we get a call and it's kind of far outside of my scope or understanding. It's a buckling road and I don't know the damage, the depth. I can go out there and take photos. I can go out there and have a conversation with the homeowner. I can document, but I'm not going to understand the cost analysis of that. And I probably will not be able to have a very detailed conversation with whoever needs to come out and fix it, as much as I want to say that I can. And I've learned a lot over the years. I can do permits with my eyes closed at this point, but there are some things that come up that are more complicated. Now, we would have reduced the engineering line item under our professional services, except we're preparing for this large repair project. So in the coming years, you would see that if that line item, that salary line item remains the same, whether we use all of it or not, although it is not reducing currently, it should in the future.
Agreed.
Yes, so that's just a little bit of background. This particular budget, we've been building up this capital reserve to resurface and repave a specific portion of our unincorporated roads for a very long time. We've done chunks of unincorporated roads that have now been annexed into the village, which is fantastic. But as I said when we spoke earlier, there's one particular road, and I'm sure some of the residents here maybe live there, but know which road I'm talking about. But there is a project coming forth, hopefully in the spring, and so that reserve will probably be damaged. It's a fun word. But yes, that was just a little bit of extra. Are there any other questions? Because I have too many notes and prepared too much, and the finance director's here with her laptop, and I appreciate that we made ourselves available. Can somebody ask something? Just for fun.
I think
I'm
that,
joking.
well, I think
I'm
that,
joking.
well, honestly, I think that the way that you laid out all the information that was provided to the board in your communication, so obviously the board receives more information than is open to the general public, because there's so much detail that they see that everyone else doesn't, that they're comparing information that they've received, 3-4 months ago with information that they received here. But again, our thanks to you, Erica, and the department heads for really making this a smooth process that got us to where we're at today. Can I ask the board for a motion in a second? Or at least a motion?
I move to approve the tentative township FY27 budget for the road department.
Trustee Lujai seconds.
A motion and a second. Any comments from the audience? You need to go up to the podium, name, address, and what township you live in, please.
Ed Lipinski. I live at 905 Wilson Drive in Des Plaines. I just wanted to give recognition to the administrators and the staff who've done such excellent work compiling all the documents here and all the information. So I was just going to ask for a point of personal privilege, but just to simply give them a round of applause just to acknowledge all their hard work.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Be done.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Weincoop,
Aye.
Trustee Lujai,
Aye.
Trustee Dukes,
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek.
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Discussion and comments from trustees. Does anyone have anything?
Yes.
Trustee Lujai.
Thank you so much. I just have 3 short things. First and foremost, in reviewing a lot up to this meeting, We got a copy of the website views, and I think it's amazing that we've had on average 2,326 people go to our website, as well as engage on social media. So a big shout out to the communications team here for just increasing the outreach into the community as well. Those are really great numbers for any organization, especially a township government organization. So awesome work. I also on Saturday had the ability to talk to the Illinois Congressional Debate Association at their state finals as a representative of the township, talking to 250 of some of the best and brightest high school students in Illinois, and they are really jazzed about local government, the importance of what a township and a municipality can do. So I always encourage those in the audience and those listening to reach out more to the youth. They are the leaders of tomorrow, but also today. So when you do see openings on boards, vacancies, try and reach out to younger people who are so eager to have their voices be heard. And finally, not only given that it is Black History Month, but I did just want to take a moment to recognize the passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson, a personal hero of mine. And I just wanted to say that we acknowledge with respect the passing of Reverend Jackson, who was a historic voice for civil rights, equality, and opportunity. For decades, Reverend Jackson challenged our nation to live up to its highest ideals and to ensure that every person's dignity and voice mattered. His work leaves a lasting mark, not only on the country, but especially here in Illinois. And on behalf of myself and the township, we honor his life, his service, and the example he set for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you all for coming. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Trustee Lujai motions to adjourn.
Trustee Weincoop, second.
Motion and a second, roll call?
Trustee Lujai.
Aye.
Trustee Weincoop.
Aye.
Trustee Dukes.
Aye.
Trustee Stanyek.
Aye.
Supervisor Scaletta.
Aye. Thanks again for joining us. We will meet in March. It will be on March 30th, which is a little bit off of our rotation. We normally meet the fourth Monday of the month, but in March, we're meeting on Monday, March 30th, which is the week after all the spring break. So Monday, March 30th. We'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you.